Hi folks, welcome to Scottish National Network, another podcast. Today I'm delighted to introduce Jonathan Mitchell from the Wine Crew, who's here with me today, who's going to just be telling us a bit about his business, what his hopes and aspirations are, and just how he thinks perhaps the Scottish National Network might get him to go where he needs to be. So without further ado, can I introduce Jonathan? Jonathan, thank you so much for taking your time out today to come and join with us.
No, thank you, Lynn, for inviting me. It's great to be here and to be able to obviously do a little bit of promotion for my business and also talk about how Scottish National Network has helped me. So
thanks.
Great, yeah.
I mean, we've known each other for quite a wee while, and I think that's a great thing when it comes to business. You get to know people personally, particularly when you're networking. But before we even go into anything like that, tell us lots about the Wine Crew, please.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So the Wine Crew. So the Wine Crew came about in 2015, where I think it was what you affectionately now would call a side hustle. I was working full time in the corporate world, but knew that I wanted to work for myself and do something for myself. So it really came about from a conversation with my wife, Alison, who said to me, well, why don't you start a wine business? Wine had always been my hobby ever since I was 18, really. Back in the day, I trained to be a chef, and whilst I trained to be a chef, I could do another course, and one of the other courses I could do was like a wine appreciation, and it really opened my eyes to the world of wine, and that's how it became a hobby. And over the years, I obviously built up quite a collection of wine, so you could say that we started the business by effectively selling the wine that I owned, as it were. And in fact, we had some help from Business Gateway originally. And one of the things that the Gateway advisor said to me is, oh, please don't tell me that you've spent £20,000 on your credit card to buy stock. And I was like, no, I've paid cash, it's fine, and all that. And he was absolutely horrified. But that was kind of what I had, and it was dotted about in different wine merchants, sellers and all that. So we got it all in. Had lots of help from friends. Somebody I knew built the website for me. Our logo came from a friend who was actually a book designer, and I said to him, have you ever thought about, book covers? Have you ever thought about doing logos? And he did the logo for us. So we really started from nothing. And as I say, a side hustle. The thing that we've done to try and separate ourselves from all the other online wine merchants out there is that we specialise in older and rarer vintages. So we have stocks of wine that go back to the 1930s, a couple beyond that, but not very many. So if someone's looking for an older wine, whether that be to drink or it's an anniversary gift for someone else, or or a birthday gift, or the start of their company, whatever year they're looking to celebrate, then we'll have a wine from that vintage, and that's kind of really where our niche lies. And we do that through an online platform. We don't have a physical store. Yeah,
that's what I was just about to ask you. So if folk are interested in finding out more on how to buy the wine, where's the best portal to go and find out?
Yeah, so literally the website. So we are www.thewinecrew, crew spelled CRU, .co.uk is the website. So if you type in The Wine Crew, as long as you spell the crew correctly, then people will find the website. So.
Oh, you mean you've not been without your challenges, especially in Scotland with the minimum unit value and it's just gone back up again. So
yeah.
I mean your prices have to reflect the fact that you've got to take that into consideration.
Well, fortunately for us, the way the minimum pricing is structured, we didn't sell anything that fell below it, so we're okay with that. But I really feel for other retailers because it's quite an emotive subject, because obviously it's designed allegedly to help the National Health Service in terms of lowering the emissions through alcohol, and obviously that's got to be a good thing. However, people who need help because of drink are not going to be put off by minimum pricing. So in my opinion, it's a bit of a waste of time.
So based on that, I mean, with the way the Scottish Government and how it's feeding into small businesses, with the different types of duties that you have to pay on the types of the products that you sell, do you find that as a hindrance or an advantage? Or what would you suggest you actually say to the government at this point to help you?
So, well, I think unfortunately it's literally the duty rates change on the 1st of February because it's UK wide. It's just the new proposal is coming into place. And what they've done is that they have increased duty overall by relating it to the strength of alcohol within the bottle. So whereas there used to be one duty level for wine, there's now 5 or 6, depending on that, as I say, how much alcohol is in that wine. And all that's going to do is put the price of wine up for sure, because it's got to come from somewhere. And while they're trying to say that some have decreased, so it will even itself out, it really won't. It's like, so some has. So if for example something's below 12% alcohol, then it's less than it currently is.
Right, okay.
But most wines, if you think of an Australian Shiraz or something like that, it's 14-15%. So
on average,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have any international trade? And I'm even talking about Ireland. Do you sell anything overseas?
Yeah, so we do. It's not as easy, obviously, as it used to be. Brexit definitely reduced that for us. So you could almost, whilst we never say never, we're predominantly UK. Because what happens now is when we get inquiries from overseas, we're interested in buying this bottle from you. Can you ship it to X? The usual answer is yes, we can. But then by the time you work out what the delivery charge is to get it to that country, and then say to them, but don't forget, even if it's Europe, don't forget you'll need to pay your own customs charges when it arrives. It becomes price prohibitive. So it's really dropped off since Brexit.
Okay. Tell me this. Do you enjoy it?
I do. I love it. Yes, absolutely. I mean, as I sort of intimated at the beginning, effectively, I've taken my hobby and turned it into a business. I mean, I love shopping. I love wine. I spend my life buying wine. So it's all good, Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been a member of the Scottish National Network for some time now.
Indeed, yeah.
Do you see that as an advantage?
I do,
forward?
yeah, I know, 100%. I think the thing that I enjoyed and still do enjoy about Scottish National Network is that you have a core of people that are always there. So you're making better connections. You can go to many different types of networking, whether it's virtual or face to face. But I think that the Scottish National Network is kind of trying to have an identity, shall we say, and you meet regularly, obviously with the same people, but equally those people are bringing new people on all the time. So it's not just the same people every time. You're meeting new people, and some of those you do business with. I mean, I've had business from being a member, from people buying my wine to people hiring me to do wine tastings, which is obviously something that we do that we haven't really touched on yet. But so as far as I'm concerned, it's definitely a big part of our future for sure. And on a personal level, I work for myself. I work from home. If I didn't go and network and all that, then I would never see anybody. So
that's true.
Good.
I mean,
it's good from that point of view as well.
Yeah, I think we forget that. People buy from people.
Yeah, sure.
I know lots of people that know Jonathan Mitchell and the Wine Crew.
Yeah,
because of who you are, through networking. It just makes such a difference.
Yeah, no, it really does. It really does. And I think when people often say to me, "Oh, you must make a fortune through Facebook or Instagram or all these kind of places." But actually, if you take all the social platforms, as people like to describe them, where most of my trade in that sphere, which is probably only about 10% of the total, most of our revenue comes through the website. But the 10% that we do get actually comes through LinkedIn. Okay. And all the people through LinkedIn have come from people I've met at Scottish National Network, for example. So that's kind of how that works. And you're not necessarily going to sell something to somebody immediately. I don't go to Scottish National Network and think to myself, right, there's going to be 40 people in the room. That's 40 people I can sell to. It's 40 people I can introduce myself to, tell them about my business, and hopefully it will, ring a chord with them. And sometimes it can be a year where I get a message through LinkedIn saying, "Oh, hi, Jonathan, we met at such and such. I'm looking for this wine. Can you help?"
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you want. I often describe networking as human SEO. You work on your website, nothing changes immediately, and networking's the same. You can't go to a network and just go, right, I'll go twice and it'll be great. You've got to stick out, and you've got to find one that fits you and all that kind of stuff. And for me, definitely Scottish National Network is
with speed
it's one of
networking. You
those.
get to speak to everybody in the room.
Yeah, for sure. Yes.
Yeah. We all know
Take
what that can be
water.
like.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Take a bottle of water with you for sure.
Yeah. So, what are your plans for the next 12 months? We've just at the
Well,
start of 2025. What do you hope to do?
So at the tail end of 2024, obviously I started the Southside Wine Club, which is moving around the south side of Glasgow doing wine tastings. Because as I mentioned, we've always done wine tastings, but kind of either for private or corporate clients. They book us to do an event, whereas this, we're creating a monthly event that we're moving around the south side. And the purpose of that is, well, one is to have an event, obviously, and hopefully make some money from it. But two, it's also about promoting our business as well and promoting the wine crew, because sadly, still the majority of our business comes from down south. Right, so definitely the focus for this year is kind of solidifying that, making sure we're out every month doing that. We've got 3 different venues that we've lined up for it, and we're now up to 30 people, which is kind of about the right amount of people for an event like that. If you have a bit any more than that, it becomes a bit more difficult to manage, as it were. But I'm really enjoying that.
Great, and it's information on your website.
Yes, it is. Absolutely, it is. Same thing. Yeah, there's a page which is called Taste, just literally tastings, and they're listed there. Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, listen, thank you very much for your contributions to the podcast.
Okay. Yeah,
really appreciate it. Wish you every success for 2025.
Thank you.
Knowing you the way that I have got to know you over the course of the last few years, I can't see any reason why you can't achieve everything you set out to and more. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and thank you for giving me this opportunity.